All right, we are live on TikTok right now, trying to get live on YouTube right this second
Live
before we
on
kind of
YouTube.
start off.
Come
Woo!
on.
All right, let's get it. Um, so starting off, I mean, we got a lot of news going on. Welcome back to the Against the Spread podcast, college edition. We have Jim Harbaugh, Caleb Downs, Alabama, Ohio State news, some transfer portal guys, some of that stuff going on. I mean, we are full of it this week. So, want to kind of start out with Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers. Pretty big news. I mean, it was expected when he was supposed to be the highest paid college coach, and it kind of turned out that he wasn't really looking in that direction. Not a surprise though, on the sense of like a lot of this stuff's coming down from the NCAA. We don't know if it's going to be next year, the year after, whenever they do it, and whenever they decide to penalize Michigan. He decided he was not going to be there for it, and I think that does save face for him a little bit, even if he didn't know as much or what was going on as much as he should have. That kind of looks bad on him if he wouldn't have got a NFL job already. Because imagine he tries to get an NFL job, let's say the next year after, and he should have known about these things and he didn't. You have those people saying, "Wow, kid, I mean, you had no idea that your team was fucking up that bad." So or your coaches were at least. So kind of looks good on him to go ahead and leave. I think he just won a championship. He's actually the first coach ever to leave for the NFL directly after winning a championship. I saw that on Pat McAfee today.
There you
Not going to steal sources or anything,
go.
but I mean that's I guess what it kind of boils down to is how is he going to fare in the NFL again? He used to be at the 49ers. I mean, he had an impeccable record at the 49ers. I mean, I think one of the best and highest win percentage. I think the highest win percentage ever for an NFL coach with the amount of wins and losses he had. So very impressive right there. And then second, it seems like he really connected well with college athletes and NFL players. He can do both of the business side of things and getting along with these players very well. That's great. I mean, that's what you want from an NFL coach. You want to make sure he is down to business and going to do what he has to do, but also relate to these guys. He was a player. He played quarterback for years in the NFL. So it relates and it translates, and that's what you want from an NFL coach. He is probably the biggest hire that's going to happen in this offseason unless Bill Belichick goes and gets hired somewhere. So that's great for the NFL as well. You're getting a lot of college people that are probably going to want to watch football next year in the NFL, even if they're not NFL people. So helps out the sport in a big way. People are going to watch Michigan, going to go look at Shamar Moore and see if he's actually performing there with Michigan, see if they can go and beat Ohio State again. Brennan, do you have any thoughts on Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL? Did you expect it?
I mean, I mean, it's funny. It sucks for players these days, just how early news gets broken before things actually happen. Like, imagine being a player for a college team just like 2 weeks before he actually gets hired. It's like, oh, Jim Harbaugh is out here meeting with the Chargers. Oh, looking like the deal's going to get done. Like, what is he telling these kids the whole time? But no, it doesn't surprise me. What a way to ride off into the sunset. You got all these allegations under your belt. You get to escape before you actually get punished for them, and you get to ride off with a championship and go back to a place you've been before and succeeded before. So I think it's probably a
Yeah, with
pretty good move on his part.
with
But
no
I mean,
penalty.
yeah, I mean it'll come to bite him in the ass eventually. But I mean, because the NCAA takes forever with their investigations. But I mean, I think we'll definitely see something come of it. But yeah, good move on his part. He's probably making some good money. And Chargers, I mean, that team, like, he's a player's coach, man. Like you said, he just relates well to the guys. And I think the Chargers are primed for, they have a ton of talent. They've had a ton of talent for a while. We've all been waiting for the Chargers to make a deep run in the playoffs. They've just choked every single year. So I think he's got a good squad to join and do something with. So I'm interested to see what happens there.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it earlier, though. Like, what is the NCAA going to do to Michigan? I mean, obviously it's something, but like with penalties now, like we were talking about, you take away the scholarships, you just substitute it with NIL. and then they have
Yeah.
a scholarship essentially. So like, I don't
I think
know
there'll
how
be
really they punish that, right?
Yeah.
I think there'll be big fines, obviously. I don't know if they can still do anything to Jim Harbaugh. Maybe like it could be something like they don't allow him to be in the coaching Hall of Fame for college football, or which is just crazy. I don't know if they'd go that far, but there's just other things they can do. I think the main thing about what the NCAA wants to do when someone violates rules like that or a team violates rules is punish them in a way that they'll feel it. So how do you do it now in this age where you can pay players by NIL, even if they're not on scholarship? You can create more room for scholarships by getting players to transfer and just incentivizing them and saying, hey, man, like you're third deep in our team, probably not going to play a lot. You're a junior. Why don't you go and play for fucking UAB and get out of here in a nice way, though, you know?
Go get a scholarship.
So,
Yeah.
because I mean, the thing is that's how they used to do it, right? They used to try to, nudge kids out and kind of be like, hey, we need to get some room here. We need to get you to go. So we're going to run you, 15 times this week and see maybe you'll kind of get out of here because you are not going to start. So I used to do stuff like that. We'll see if that stuff comes back into play. And I think it already has. You've seen people or guys that you thought were, hey, that kid could have been good in like 2 years, but he left already. Probably got pushed out. Same thing like we're going to talk about later, but Julian Sand from Alabama seemed like he got pushed out. Seemed like DeBoer wanted to bring his guy in from Washington. He thought that kid was better, and seemed like Sand got told, hey, you're probably not going to be the guy for us. This kid's the same class as you. We like him a lot better with what our offense is. It would make sense if you, kind of got out of here. And he did. He left quick. So I think we're going to start seeing those things happen. But I don't know. To answer your question with all of this, Rich, I don't really know how you're going to be able to punish these guys or teams without that coach anymore. And some of the players probably not being there. Most of the players actually probably not going to be there by the time you even get to punish them. So you're punishing kids who are not even inside that, on the team when that happened. Because it happened last year with in there. And
you're kind of cutting out on the side.
wait, what did you say?
Yeah, we're losing you a little bit there, Zach.
No,
but
it's
no,
like,
I mean,
like even if you strip their title, it's like I remember watching them win the national championship, so that's not really a punishment.
No.
Like they still have a trophy; they can still claim they're national champions. I don't really see how they punish them. But Harbaugh obviously saw something coming and got the fuck out of Dodge.
Well, I mean, you really just have to punish the program moving forward in terms of, hey, like if it's that serious of allegations and you really don't want something like this happening again, which they shouldn't, you need to punish them harsh enough to make no one else want to do it again. Like say, hey, you're suspended from the college football playoff for 2 years. You can't play in playoff. You can't play in a bowl game. I mean, they've done that to teams before.
That would be bad. That would be worst case scenario, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the kind of punishments, if they do their investigation and stuff comes out like they strictly won football games these last few years because of cheating. What sucks is they got caught, and then like the one defense they do have is they got caught cheating and sign stealing or whatever, but they still, those last 4 or 5 games of the season where they didn't cheat because they knew they were caught, like they still went on and won the national championship. So they still beat Alabama. They still beat Washington without doing so. So they have that claim to fame. But I mean, if you could go back,
we're going to see a 30-30.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
I mean, 30-30. I'll give it a watch.
But yeah, you just got to punish them. I mean, I can't think of a program off the top of my head that's gotten punished that bad. I mean, no, not a USC, but there's been teams that have been suspended back when bowl games actually meant something before the playoff. Like teams who did something very horrendous like this, got suspended, couldn't play in bowl games. Like you said, taking scholarships away at that point really hurt because NIL wasn't a thing. So they have to come up with something new to actually hurt a program to make sure something like that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that eventually they're going to figure out something. For some reason, my mind never even went to like not allowing them to play in the playoff or national championship or bowl games. But that used to be a pretty like powerful penalty they used to do. I'm pretty sure they used to call it the death penalty, right? Where you can't play in bowl games, you get scholarships taken away, all this shit has happened to SMU. I think it happened to Penn State as well for like the shit that went on there. But we'll see how everything plays out. Obviously, we're going to talk about Michigan well into this year and talk about how they're performing without Jim Harbaugh, as well as what are these sanctions that are going to come down from the NCAA, if there are any, which we think there are going to be. I don't think Jim Harbaugh would have stayed either way after winning the championship if there was going to be penalties or not. But it is funny to see him kind of get out of here and leave right before they're expecting to give him some penalties. So I don't know how that's going to be in the future. If guys are cheating and they're found cheating, if they're going to be able to just run to the NFL without any penalties. Maybe there's some fines that will go on. Maybe he'll get fined still for kind of evade. I mean, that's kind of like evading a fucking
exactly.
Like a legal battle, like you're kind of getting out of Dodge. Like, I mean, that's what happened. So I think we're going to see some changes happen. But I kind of want to move to the transfer portal a little bit and specifically move to.
Did we lose him?
Oh no,
he's gone.
We lost him. Well, we can continue on.
You cover for him.
I think the biggest news of the transfer portal in this last week, obviously everybody was on their seat, on their toes. Now all the cameras are messed up. We got technical difficulties going on.
No. I'll move this way
now. So Caleb Downs obviously was a huge hit for Alabama. Everyone was hoping he'd stay, but when you come to Alabama to get taught DB stuff by Nick Saban, that's why you're there. I mean, it sucks that he left because a guy like Caleb Downs, man, I look at it. The way I looked at it was with Caleb Downs.
Zach, your camera looks amazing now, by the way.
Yeah, you're looking good now.
Can you guys hear me? Am I here?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we're just talking about Caleb Downs. I was just going to make a point on Caleb Downs transferring. What blows me about Caleb Downs transferring, which, like I said, I get it. He came for Nick Saban. You talk about Alabama not having a big NIL fund because we had Nick Saban. So obviously a player like Caleb Downs can go into the transfer portal and get just about any money he asks for. But to see someone like Caleb Downs, who, he's already, in my eyes, NFL ready. Like that guy could get drafted this year, go to the NFL and be productive on an NFL team. So it's like when you're already set in place on a team, especially a team that, was one game away from the national championship, it hurts to see a player like that, the core of your group leave when, obviously your starting job isn't up for grabs. You've already shown NFL talent on the field. And I mean, I get, it at the end of the day, it always goes back to the money, but it just sucked seeing Caleb Downs go. And then obviously, whatever, y'all got anything on Caleb Downs' movement? I know Zach probably does with him, the Georgia.
Zach's out again.
Zach's out again. Well, we thought with
Ohio State's stacked now. I mean, that's a big piece for them for sure, especially because they're going more defensive at the moment.
Yeah. And they have I think they have 6 or 7 returning defensive players. They had a lot of guys who could have went off to the NFL, but saw a promise in this upcoming season that came back.
Yeah.
But and then they picked up. We got producer Christian coming into the chat.
Coming in hot. Zach's unfortunately having some technical difficulties, so we are gonna sub in good old Christian on producer Christian. But
then obviously they just picked up Julian Sand, number 1 quarterback of the 2024 class. Because I don't think I think, Zach had mentioned earlier, he thought that Kalen DeBoer brought his guy in, and I think and pushed Julian Sand out. I think it was more probably Julian Sand had 1 foot out the door already and was kind of like, And so Kalen DeBoer was like, shit, well, if this guy's leaving, we got to go get a stud freshman ourselves. And for him to be going to Ohio State, their QB room is loaded now.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State and Emeka Egbuka is coming back for them at wide receiver. Obviously, they have
They just
Travion
scalped
Henderson.
Alabama, though, didn't they?
Huh?
Ohio State. Who did Ohio State get a quarterback? They scalped Alabama, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
that's Julian Sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the number. I mean, that
I'm
guy
here,
is
boys.
freaking gross.
Hey.
Producer Christian in the chat. You may know him from the NFL show.
What's up, boys?
So he might
Now
not
the
know much
college
about college.
Fuck the Chargers. They stole my coach.
He's not a Jim Harbaugh fan.
But yeah, no, I could throw a little 2 cents in here about Caleb Downs though. I think it was kind of
as a Georgia fan. You were definitely hoping to get him after Georgia hired Travarius Robertson.
For sure, absolutely. But I mean, that secondary is already stacked. Obviously, doesn't have that proven talent yet. But But yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of a bitch move in my opinion. I think he should have stayed. Like, he was a Bama guy. Like, he was y'all's guy. Like, he was the life of that secondary. For him to leave, I don't know. I hope he does really bad at Ohio State because fuck them. But yeah,
we don't like Ohio State around here.
Yeah, fuck Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good kid. Obviously, I mean, like I said, it all goes back to the money. If you're a freaking 19-year-old getting offered $1 million or $2 million to go to a school that the team you're currently at can't offer you. I mean, because you never know. In college, you can get hurt, career-ending injury, never play football again. So it's like, if you have that chance to go cash a check, you might as well go take it.
Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this transfer portal, this era of college football we can talk about that for ages.
Well, especially when you go to play for a coach and learn from the coach, then the coach leaves or retires, and then you're like, oh well, shit. I'll just take the most money because I know I'm maybe not a proven talent, but I know I'm talented right now. So, I'd go take the money, especially for Ohio State when they're going to be perennial contenders with Ryan Day and the quarterback's leaving with you. That guy's good because he balled on you in practice every day. So. It is a bitch move, like Christian said, but at the same time, bro, like he's making that bag.
Go get that money. But also at the same time, bro, like he's gonna be a top 10 pick probably. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
His bag's coming, bro.
Absolutely.
Like his bag's coming. And trust me. Saban leaving, I'm sure Alabama was like, "Yo, we got all this money now that we can give you," and he was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm out."
I'm
out. I know. I'm just waiting for Nick Saban to put all the Mercedes-Benz profits into the NIL deal at Alabama. I mean, that guy's making some money over there. But hey, we do have some good news on the Alabama side. Instead of people moving out, we had a few guys come in. Obviously, players from Washington following their head coach. That is the center from Washington. He played 2 games at guard and then was moved over to the center for 13 games. Yeah, big time for Alabama after Seth McLaughlin leaving. Had snap issues all year last year. So getting a center from Washington. He's not the biggest guy. A lot of people are saying, oh, he's not. He's like 6'2", 280, I think 290. Not the biggest like SEC typical guy you think of, but you watch tape on the dude. He handles his own. And then they brought in. We also brought in Jeremy Bernard, the wide receiver. He had 34 catches, 419 yards for Washington. He was like the number 4 guy. And balled out that much.
Like
number 4 on that team.
Going from what happened though to the college playoff, like anything's an upgrade at this point. Like he's gonna be.
Absolutely. We're loving it. The one guy to still look out for is Jabbar Muhammad, the safety from Washington. He's still one of the top players in the transfer portal. The tough thing about it is he went on his official visit to Alabama last weekend, and he put out a statement. Somebody put out, and he said he basically was just praising Kalen DeBoer and was like at the end of the statement was saying, Alabama's in good hands with Coach DeBoer. And I was like, that doesn't sound too promising about him coming here, because obviously Texas. I think he's going on a visit to Texas, which they're throwing freaking big old bags at players.
Money bags. Man.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he landed at Texas.
Because Texas is all their NIL is about to free up, no?
Yeah.
Because, A.D. Mitchell. That's got to be
the
a big
only guy they're really
cash.
paying is like Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning.
You also got to think about it too, like as an NIL standpoint, like how like the money in business kind of works is having a back-to-back national champion as weird as that sounds, him coming from Georgia and being a back-to-back national champion. Not trying to toot our own horn, but toot. But I think it's a little bit better of a billboard than hey, here's Quinn Ewers, who hasn't won shit, but he's here and he's ugly as fuck, but here he is. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's just like Isaiah Bond leaving for them. I mean, you were number one on Alabama already, but I guess you didn't think you were going to do as good with Jalen Milroe as Quinn Ewers, which, I mean, I get it. I talked about that last week. He was the one guy I was like, you know what, I totally understand his situation. Same thing with Jermaine Burton leaving Georgia to join Alabama with Bryce Young, playing with Stetson. He didn't think Stetson was going to do what the hell he did, because Stetson freaking shocked all of us with how much he was slinging the rock around. But, I kind of get those things, trying to set up your future better, try to improve your draft stock. But, I mean –
Speaking of future, how do you feel about saying leaving? You kind of hinted at it, but that kid looked like the truth.
Oh, dude. I mean, I remember I was texting my brother about it. I was like, the few guys we can not lose are Caleb Downs, Julian Sayin, and Deontay Lawson, our linebacker. And I was like, those guys are like the core of our team.
Was Sayin going to play this year?
No, I mean, but I think he would have been – the situation to me would have been – look, the Jalen Hurts and Jalen Hurts and Tua situation. So you'd have, I think Milroe would have had a string, because they already said Julian Sayin came in ball practice and was just astounding. People were shocked at how good he could throw the ball for a young kid. And so I think it would have kind of been, Milroe, obviously it's his job to lose, but if you're getting into these games and you're getting down in games and you can't make the comeback with a rush-heavy offense, you need to sling the rock around. I could have seen Julian Sayin coming in and doing that for us, but I don't know. That one really hurt because he was definitely the future after this year, and supposedly, one of the highest touted quarterbacks that have been in recent recruiting classes. So I was really bummed about that one. I was, texting the boys saying, we are fucked. I mean, our dynasty's over. But then, hey, I'll tell you what, we got Ryan Williams back, 5-star wide receiver in class of 2024. He decommitted a few weeks ago after Saban's retirement. Now he's back. He just recommitted last night but right before the Auburn-Alabama Iron Bowl on the court. And then as soon as Alabama beat Auburn, he canceled his official visit to Auburn, so he just double slapped him in the face. Fuck the barn.
Damn.
So yeah, that's big time for us, man. We need a guy like that. They're comparing it. Some Alabama people are comparing it. Kalen DeBoer's first recruit like that to Nick Saban's first big time recruit commitment and Julio Jones. So hopefully, he's a guy that can recruit other people.
I wish you would have said where he was on the Pat McAfee show, because I was really curious, because he was in the South. And he might.
What do you mean?
I think he was in Georgia, because it was
trying to skim off Georgia's recruitment.
It was a day that it was raining, like all of Georgia was raining, and it was raining in the background. He was in a car, and Pat McAfee was like, "Where are you at right now?" And he was like, "I'm in the South." And he was like,
"Yeah."
"Oh, okay." He was like, "The good old South." Like, you could tell, like, Pat wanted to ask the question so bad, "Where are you at?" And I think at one point he did. He was like, "Where are you at?" Like, specifically, and he was just like, pushed it off. He's like, "The South."
Yeah,
not wanting to give up, like who he was seeing and stuff.
But that's what you need if you're Alabama. You need a guy that's going to grind, and he might not necessarily be as good of a coach as Saban, but you need a grinder to even bring the program close to what it was. So
absolutely, and he's already. I mean, he went and got a 4-star defensive end, Noah Carter. He was committed to Washington. He decommitted from there, committed to Alabama. So I mean, that's a 5-star and a 4-star already coming to Bama. And we have, I think, 3 4-star, 5-star guys coming in this 2024 class, 3 to 5 of them. I mean, we're still the number 2 recruiting class in the nation. We haven't lost that many recruits,
right?
If any at all, really. So we're chilling, man. I mean, Alabama's still in good hands in terms of players.
Staying on has really saved y'all's ass too.
Oh yeah.
Because I think if he just was like, "Hey, I'm going to Florida, fuck off. I'm going to be playing golf and drinking beer." I think this recruiting class would look a little different
which is what I would have done if I were Saban, but whatever.
What a fucking weirdo, dude. Like, let me retire and then get an office for myself here and be here all the fucking time and get no credit for what's going on. Like,
I think he'll get a lot more credit than we believe.
I know he loves Alabama football, but dude, you've been doing this shit for a minute, bro. Like, go play some fucking golf and relax. Like, god damn, you're gonna die of a fucking heart attack. Why are you still putting yourself through this? You know what I mean? Like,
I know, man.
But hey,
as
a Georgia fan, it was great to see him retire. Jesus, great to see him retire. Be gone with you.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
I'm just looking at this craziness from Ohio State right here. So Ohio State landed the #1 overall recruit in 2024, wide receiver Jeremiah Smith. They just reeled in the #1 quarterback from the 2024 class, and Julian Sayin, obviously. Reeled in the #1 overall player in the transfer portal this year, Caleb Downs. Yep. And then also the #1 running back in the portal, and Quinshon Judkins. It's like, dude, God,
absolutely loaded, man. Loaded.
Ohio State's about to be nasty.
Loaded, absolutely. But who's their coach still?
Ryan Day. Are you on the Ryan Day's overrated train? I think he's a decent coach. He can't beat Michigan. Stick up his ass for Harbaugh, but he
can't beat Michigan. No. And if he can't beat Michigan, imagine when he's gonna have to go through a 12-team bracket and win multiple games in a row against fucking competition.
Let's see if he can't beat Michigan, because the teams he's been trotting out. At home. Yeah.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see if he loses to him this year without Harbaugh. But he's getting rocked.
Buddy should have got canned, man.
Go ahead and book that flight to Cancun, buddy. Your contract's getting bought out, and they're moving on.
But give me this. With Ryan Day, say you're a college football or a high school football player, and you're about to go play for somebody, and you have a conversation with, Kirby Smart, DeBoer, and then Ryan Day. You're going to think that Ryan Day is the softest, biggest piece of shit you've ever met in your life. I don't understand why people are going there. I think it's like this Ohio State. I think it's solely the alumni of Ohio State that makes people come there. Like, the alumni, the players that played there, like, they're so historical that I think that's what pulls them in. Because it cannot be Ryan Day. Because if I'm a high school football player, like, I'm not going to play for this fucking, we're a physical team! Like, God bless.
Yelling at a 95-year-old.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, that dude's
Ohio State. I think Ohio State's definitely one of those programs that people go to for the letters on their chest. Like, it doesn't matter who's coaching there. I think they're going to recruit well. State University.
Exactly.
I think they're going to recruit well no matter what. Just because, like you said, the rich history there, everything that's happened there. It's a great program to go to, and shit, dude, they tend to pump out pretty damn good NFL talent, so it's a place you could always go for that.
Zach's in chat. He said, "We are a physical team."
Zach joining from the chat, baby. Anything else? I mean, I'm trying to think of stuff we had mentioned before. I think kind of ran through all of it.
I mean, it was kind of a slower week besides Harbaugh, obviously, but
for sure.
It's a slower time. People are recruiting right now. We'll get more news as it drops.
And I guess look out for Michigan's roster. Now their window has opened for 30 days. Which if they get Sharon Moore, I don't know if I see too many people leaving. Obviously, they already played with that guy this year for 4 to 6 games. I think it was like 6 games Harbaugh was suspended for. So I mean, he cried for him. I mean, come on, guy's got heart. We'll see. Baby. Their window's opening up, so maybe you might see some players dip out. Who knows? But we'll definitely keep everyone updated on that. And then I think next week we're officially going to do our way too early top 12.
Way too early predictions, baby.
Pick for the playoffs. We're going to give you like projected record throughout the year where we think they're going to be seeded 1 through 12. It's going to be way too early, but we're going to have some fun with it.
That's going to be fun.
See how close we can get for next year.
Should we let Zach put Georgia at #1?
I don't know, man. They've got a tough schedule. They've got a really tough schedule. I was thinking, like, already kind of thinking about it. I think Ohio State might be the play for one because their schedule. I mean, outside of Oregon, not very hard. They play Penn State, obviously, but still don't. I mean, Ohio State owns Penn State, and then Michigan to finish off the season. That's their only 3 games, and Michigan's definitely taking a big step back after all the players they're losing. So think Ohio State might have an easy run to an undefeated season next year.
That's true.
But we'll definitely.
I mean, the SEC teams might take each other out too, so they might have to be like 3 or 4. I mean, Alabama's got a cupcake ass schedule. We've already gone over that.
Here we go. Here we go. Buddy,
play Vandy.
Yeah, dude. About damn time. We've been playing in the West for the last 50 years. Georgia's had cupcake schedule every year playing in the East.
Bro, Missouri's been better than fucking half. I mean, you got to think about it. Missouri's been better than Ole Miss. They've been better than Auburn. They've been better than LSU, a lot of West teams.
Texas A&M. Those teams are quality every year.
Florida at neutral ground.
Yeah. But all right. Anybody got anything else before we hop off here?
No, I think that's all wrapped up for this week.
Fans, sorry. Yeah, sorry for Zach's technical difficulties tonight. Usually he's leading the show, but
he tried to do it from a camcorder and it didn't work. Yeah, shocker.
Hey, we did our best here, but yeah, follow the socials. Obviously, you see them on the screen here. Check us out. We do. Christian's been doing a bunch of basketball betting slips.
He's been on fire with basketball.
Yeah, basketball's been doing hot. So if you're in the betting world, don't be like the guy from LSU. Forgot to bring that up, but I don't know if y'all saw that. LSU player just got caught making like 8,600 bets, betting on himself.
By the way.
Yeah, he got arrested for that. Yeah. So yeah, go make some bets with our boys. They post their slips every night. They let you know what they do hit and don't hit. And then also NFL show tomorrow, right, Christian?
Yes, sir. NFL show tomorrow.
Yep.
Final
go check them out. Big weekend coming up.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we might do like a big cast for the Super Bowl, so be on the lookout for that. We'll be doing a reaction to the Super Bowl, a bunch of fun shit, because the TikTok will be popping on Super Bowl. We get a lot of people in live.
Oh yeah. All right, peeps. We will see y'all next week with our projected top 12 for the college football playoff 2024.